Welcome back. Stasa23 here, back again with some knife therapy. And the knife I have in front of you today has been a grail of mine for the longest time. Not so much this knife, but the pattern itself. And this knife is the Pena Knives X Series Lanny's clip. It comes in right around $365, pretty much everywhere I've seen. This guy's produced by Riot and designed by custom knife maker Enrique Pena. Makes some absolutely beautiful custom knives. Maybe one day I'll own one of his customs, but until now, here we go. And I think that's kind of why he produced these, for those who couldn't either get their hands on one of his customs or who couldn't quite afford it. Even though this is still a pretty pricey price tag, some people can afford this over the $1,000 to $1,600 and up. This customs go for. So this knife right here kind of falls into your high-end production. Almost, the lines are blurred now with the mid-tech. Call it what you want. It's just a high-end production knife. So let's get into some quick specs. You have real quick. This is what it comes in, a nice zipper pouch. Just the regular Riot pouches with his logo on it. So there you go. You have a total length of 7.5 inches, so it's not an enormous folder. It's a nice EDC size. I would say this is probably the average size that most people like to carry that can legally carry these. You got a total blade length of 3.25 inches. You got a cutting edge of 3.125 inches. You got a total handle length of 4.25 inches. You have a grip area of 3.5 inches. You have a thickness this way at a little above average at 0.53 inches thick. You have at the widest portion 1.40 inches wide. You have a blade stock of right around 1/8 inch thick. So it's a decently beefy, not super over beefy, but it can handle some of your harder use tasks. You have edge thickness. It varies a lot because it has this compound grind, but in this portion right here, it goes from 0.020, that's pretty darn thin, all the way up to 0.025. Then when you get into this more robust front tip right here, this compound grind, you get the thinnest portion like down here at 0.023, and closer toward the tip you get it at a robust 0.032. So let's dive into this guy because I have a lot to say. You have this absolutely stunning deep clip point blade with this nice flat ground swedge that gives you a very nice needle-like point for precision cutting and piercing. You have a two-tone finish that really accentuates the blade itself. If you look at it really closely, you have stone wash on the main bevel right here, and you have stone washing on the swedge right here. And you also have stone washing on the spine of the blade. And look at that contrast. You got these two sections right here, and then these two sections right here. Your flats and the compound ground tip are done in a satin finish. And another nice little touch that you usually get into your higher range knives, get those details. And you have matching fullers on both sides, and as you can see inside that fuller, you have the stone wash finish as well. Almost looks like it was blasted then stone washed, but regardless, it looks nice. And it doesn't have any sharp edges right there that are going to collect extra crud. So very nicely done. Let's see. They have a perfectly executed sharpening choil. You'll know that's a pet peeve of mine. You can see the plunge line going down back here. So they did an excellent job on there. Always love to see when that happens. You don't have tons of billboarding. You have the Pena X Series. That looks okay. You flip it over here, and all you have is the blade steel, which is CPM S35 VN steel. Definitely a good to go steel. Can't complain. You don't have any jimping up here, but you do have this deep choil right there with the flipper tab that acts as a guard, and it does lock you in pretty good. And thankfully, without being that you don't have any jimping, you do have this flat spine up here to rest your finger on there, so I don't feel like I'm going to slip off one way or the other. Let's close this guy up. Your flipper tab is designed nicely. As you can see, you have that portion right here for your light switch, which it rockets out. And as you can see as well, you do have a flat portion up there to do your push button that rockets out just equally as good. For me, the more natural is the light switch, but push button, you do get just a little bit added thump to it. And close this guy up. You have a nice blasted titanium frame on both sides. You have a faux bolster right here. And you have a faux jig pattern, or it is a jig pattern, kind of like simulating a jig bone pattern. Looks really, really nice. I think it would look nice with the two-tone anodization to kind of break this up to make it look like a bolster up here even more. You have some nice blue anodized titanium hardware. You have a T10 on the pivot, nice and robust, and as you can see, it's a really crisp pivot. It's not super deep, but it's very crisp. Nice tight fit, and you have this nice decorative style pivot. Kind of looks like a Steve Kelly pivot. You have T8 on your body screws. You do have a lanyard hole. You could probably fit some 550 through there. Flip it over. You see you have a nice 3D milled titanium pocket clip that kind of flows with the lines. Has decent, pretty stiff retention. Let's see what it looks like in our simulated pockets. Let me know if this bothers y'all, if y'all rather see real pockets. I don't know. There you go. Sits fairly deep in the pocket. I'm definitely good with that. Sorry, my sinuses are acting up today. Forgive me. Let's see what it looks like in your slanted pockets. A little bit more berries down in there. That's perfect enough for me if it's not going to be a deep carry. You also have a geared pattern titanium backspacer that goes about halfway down the spine of the handle. Let's see, what else did I hit on everything? Let's get a quick weight on this guy. It's not a lightweight, but I don't think it's intended to be a lightweight. Let's see if my scale wants to come on. 4.71 ounces. You know, like I said, it's not a lightweight, but it's more geared toward, I think, a harder use blade. Especially you got that robust tip on there, so I'm okay with that. They do have some lightning pockets in there, as you can see up there on the top. They milled out pretty much as they could, and they also have some, if you can see there, in the back as well. You do have a nice milled portion on both sides to be able to get your finger in there to disengage that lock bar very easily. And there's your lockup at around 30%. You have absolutely no play. That's one thing about Riot. Their lockups, for the most part, all the ones I've handled are like bank vaults. I mean, I cannot muscle any over and push over. That's about as far as I can get. So you can get a little bit of push on there. Not bad. And as you can see, it didn't stick whatsoever. Let's get some size comparisons. And some of these knives are kind of in this price range, so you can kind of compare see what you're getting, see if it compares to its competition. Here's another one that I've been loving here recently, is the Millet Torrent, TJ Schwartz design. These two are pretty much identical in length. Of course, the Pena is dwarfing it in the width section. Another one kind of in this price category is the Strider SJ75. My dogs are about to freak out. Sorry about that, people. The SJ75 is just a little bit smaller. There you go. Another one in this price bracket, actually this one's a good bit more expensive, is your Chris Reeve Insingo. And another one that kind of, is doing the same thing but a little bit more overbuilt is the Grayman Knives Dua. It's a little bit smaller than the Pena. And another one that more people will have is the Kershaw. Is this the Link? I think it is. I get the Dividend and the Link. I'm pretty sure this is the Link. Those two are pretty much identical in size in all directions. So there you go. Some quick things before I wrap it up. Some quick things that I would have definitely liked to see different on this knife, and they're just nitpicks. And nothing hurting the functionality of the knife. Knife works great, looks great, but let's get into them real quick. I would have liked to see a more sterile blade. I could have done without that right there, just to give it a more custom look. But I guess they're definitely wanting to not take away from his customs, and I would have liked to see that blade steel small, kind of like We does it. That's just aesthetic appearance that I would have liked to see different. Maybe some jimping up here would have been nice, just because it's nice and smooth up here. I think it would have helped for a little bit of traction. But like I said, you do have that flat portion that is going to help you get a little bit more traction. One of my biggest complaints that I've definitely seen that could have definitely been added is some jimping on this flipper tab. As you can see, it's beveled, it's nice and smooth. I've only slipped off of it a few times, but it would have been a lot better if they would have just added just a couple jumps here, maybe a couple jumps here. I noticed mainly in the push button, I've noticed I've slipped off just because it's slick up top right there. But in my light switch, that's my preferred method. I hadn't had too many mess ups there. And that's probably the biggest gripe out of the whole knife. Another one that I noticed, and I notice this always because it makes the knife feel a lot heavier than it should be, or a lot lighter, is the balance point is right here in that bolster. So it is a little handle heavy, and that's mainly because you have this titanium backspacer. I would have much rather see some nice, well-executed standoffs back here and give it a nice flow-through construction. I mean, I know that's everybody's preference, and for me, to have the knife more balanced and have some standoffs would have been a nice touch, but, each their own. Also, even though the blue anodization looks pretty good on this all-titanium model, I would have loved to see them change it up between models, because all the models, the one with the micarta here, the one with the G10 here, the one with the marble carbon fiber here, they all have this blue. I mean, come on. I know they can anodize different colors, change it up some, make each pattern or each version of it exciting to get that version, You don't want the same across the board. It's I don't know. Tell me if that's something that bugs you any. Let's see. This is not really a huge problem. I only saw it be an issue in really thicker pants or thicker shorts. You got some pretty good retention on this clip, and as you can see, that clip is sitting on the jig pattern. So pulling it out of the pocket, I noticed it wanted to kind of catch, even though this jig pattern is not super rough, but it does, with this tension, give enough grip to where sometimes it was hard going in and out. Not the end of the world, though. Also, being this is, a Riyadh and a high-end production knife, some things that you see on, a lot of knives these days, I would have liked to see a flipper landing pad right here. Let's see if I have a knife in front of me that has it. Let's see. Of course, I say that, and I don't have any in front of me. Well, you know what I'm talking about. Whenever they bevel right here, so whenever you flip it, you got a nice landing spot. Also, my last thing, and I'll let y'all go. The action on this guy is very nice and snappy. It's got that nice Riyadh smoothness on the opening, but the lock bar tension is not strong, but it's stronger than most. And, you know, that definitely aids in a nicer, snappier action with those ceramic bearings and ceramic detent ball. But on the closing, it's not the nice free dropper that a lot, you know, about 80% of Riots are. You know, you got this Millet Torrent is my smoothest knife I own, and this sucker is just butter smooth. This guy's riding on washers, and it's super smooth. This guy is also riding on washers, and it's super, super smooth. Whoop, I say that, but I'm behind the camera. So, you know, like I said, it's just a gripe. It's not hurting the functionality of the knife. And I don't think I even touched on ergos. Real quick, this knife is super, super comfortable in this grip. Your hammer grip is very comfortable. This grip is nice and comfortable. Even with that flipper tab, it's not really hurting me. I kind of feel the clip a little bit, but it's not bad. Reverse grip, really comfortable, even though I never use that. This pinch grip right here for that precise cutting is good. This grip is not so good just because of the angles of the blade and stuff like that, but ergos are nice as well. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this guy. If you own one, tell me how yours is. Let me know how the action is on yours. Tell me if you guys think this guy's worth $365. To me, I think it is, mainly because you're paying for Riot quality, and then along with that, you're also paying for the Enrique Pena name. So those knives are always going to be more expensive than just, you know, when a company produces in-house designs rather than rather than designing a knife from a custom maker, you're paying that custom maker money as well. So I think it's priced pretty fairly. Like I said, I would have liked to see some of them things changed at this price tag. You know, I'm really picky whenever I get to these price ranges. You know, those nitpicks matter a lot more when you're paying over $100, in my opinion. So y'all let me know what y'all think about that. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Share it with all your friends and family in your social networks. If you like my videos in general and you're not already, hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, hit that bell button too so you don't miss any of my videos. YouTube likes to hide videos from people. Hit that bell button and it'll let you know anytime I have a new video. And you definitely want to be part of our little community, knife community, and a subscriber to my channel, because I'm creeping up on that 2,000 subscriber mark really slowly but surely. And I plan on doing a really cool giveaway, so you don't want to miss that. So make sure you subscribe, and hope everybody's having an absolute wonderful day. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.